hope you're all good. I hope you're all well. Welcome back to my channel. Yes, if you are new here, I'm Tisha Oliphant, born and bred in South Africa. And I've noticed, oh, it's not recent, I'm picking that I have subscribers from other countries as well. So I do appreciate you. I do welcome you. And yeah, stay here. Although today's video will be focusing more on South African economy and the tough times that we're facing as a country, we're facing as citizens in terms of um, expensive commodities. So if you are not based in South Africa, you're still welcome. I'm sure there's a thing or two or tips that you can take from this live video. And if you've always been on this channel, oh my word, thank you for your support. Thank you for staying with me. Thank you for always being here, commenting, sharing. And I know I've got you know, on YouTube, you are able to actually like subscribe privately. I'm thinking of the word that is used on this channel, and for the life of me, it's not. It's escaping me. Thanks for those supporters that are supporting my channel and paying a subscription fee on a monthly basis. And thanks to everyone for letting others know about the channel. And we are certainly growing. And yes, today it's about the tough times that we are facing as a country of South Africa. But like I said, you might pick up a tip or two that you can use in your country if you're outside South Africa. And a disclaimer before we start, and I'm hoping this video will be as short as possible because I need to be in 100 places at the same time. I don't know how will that be possible, or to complete certain tasks in a very limited period. If you are, and I just want to give a disclaimer that I'm not a financial advisor. If you need some financial direction or you need clarity on your financial situation or status, you are welcome to consult or contact a certified financial advisor, which is licensed, and you can always request documentation and verify you. So you ought to do due diligence, because anyone can say, I'm a financial advisor. Times have changed. We've seen fake doctors, we see fake traders. So make sure, Gucci, you are safe. And I hope your Sunday is blessed, your Sunday is peaceful. And let's kickstart. I see you, Shabalala. How are you, Mshegu? Thanks for joining me. Thank you for supporting this channel. And those who've liked, thank you for liking. As you come in, please do like. If the content resonates with you, please do subscribe and come back and watch the videos and watch all videos, because there's so much content. Good channel. Before we start, I just want to see if I can pick up. Someone did an amazing stats on how bad the economy has gone. If you are based in South Africa, you know that the petrol price went up last week. And it really, and I often hear people, when petrol goes up, let me reduce this. Oh my God. When petrol goes up, you often hear people saying, oh, I don't have a car, I'm okay, I'm not impacted. But to be honest, it affects you even if you don't have a car, because chances are even the public transport is going to actually raise their fees. Just few seconds, guys. I don't think I went to, and if I can't pick up what I'm looking for in terms of statistics. And to be honest, I don't even need these stats. You guys know exactly how bad the situation is, but I just wanted to quote. I think I'm getting there. Just 2 seconds. If I can't find it, I'll just so basically, the person did this quick study, and thanks for liking, guys, as you are coming in, to say electricity is now 300% more expensive since 2015. You know, normally when something goes up by whether it's 5%, depending on your income, you know, it's always about income and your expenses. It kills you. So in this case, our electricity as South Africans have gone up more than 300%, 300% since 2015. And we know last week petrol went up, and it is scary that with 50 rands, and guys, 50 rands is a lot of money. Even if someone says, but that is nothing, it is a lot of money. With 50 rands, you get 1 liter and a half. And I don't even think you can get to a nearest mall with 1 liter and a half. So it is really, really bad. And we all know that when you go buy groceries, which I now do on a weekly basis, you know, I think that was caused more by load shedding. Gucci, I don't want to buy a lot of groceries or monthly groceries, and the electricity goes on and off because I don't have the solar, and then the food gets spoiled, or I think it's still okay and eat it and end up with the food poisoning. So I took a decision when the load shedding got really severe in our country and it was persistent with no solution, to buy on a weekly basis. And I go into a grocery store, I promise you 2,000 rands doesn't even get me much, and I'm sure you guys can also agree with that. So we're sitting here talking about such, and I'm sure there's more areas in your financial life, personal financial life, that you've noticed, good time. Few years ago, I wasn't paying this crazy cost or fee or charges when I embarked on a certain journey. School fees, they go up every year. There's a lot, guys. It's not just petrol, it's not just electricity, it is not just groceries. Insurances, in a certain time of the year, we all know if you have your medical insurance, it also goes up. If you've got a car insurance, it also goes up. A lot is becoming expensive. You know, before people would bless neighbors with a loaf of bread and milk. These days, if you've got a neighbor in your budget, you really, really sit and think twice, go to what else you can do to make sure go to cater for the neighbor, because loaf of bread is no longer what it used to cost a few years ago. So let's talk about solutions. Hi, Bonsilem Tembu. Thank you, Sissy. Welcome, Ributile. Welcome, Sweetie Pie. Thanks, Suripa. I truly appreciate the praise I see there, and Jablile. So, how do we work around this? And guys, Mina, to be honest, as much as when we did our finance boot camp for the past 6 weeks, and we were talking about expenses, and I encourage all of y'all to cut on expenses, and I even gave solutions. I'm not big on always saying cut this, because how much can you cut? I'm big on saying look for alternatives, you know? So, first things first, when it comes to electricity, I know people say let's go off grid, but we know even going off grid requires a good investment. Yes, there's people who've taken second bonds or extended their bonds so that at least they've got solar systems. If you're gonna do that, guys, sit down, look into your financial situation, and just make sure, Guti, does it make financial sense in your case? Will it yield about returns? And what you ought to be very careful about, which I'm very careful of, is don't overcapitalize on your property. So this applies even if you want to extend your house. So if you are investing any money, in this case, we're talking about cutting electricity. So if you're going to put solar system in your house or solar panels, just make sure you don't overcapitalize. Overcapitalizing is when you spend more money than the money you will get when if you were about to sell the house. And I know some people say, ah, I'll never get to sell this house. I want it to be a family house. That is different. If you're not planning to sell and move to another area or move to another country, or abroad, and you want this to be a legacy that you're gonna leave for your great grandchildren. So I think you can overcapitalize. You can even put glass ceilings and whatever. But if you're intending to sell, don't spend a lot of money investing in that house because you are going to make a loss. I promise you, the day you decide to sell the house. And another tip, guys, we've been told about this. Go green, change your lights. I don't think there's any one of us. And if you are one of those people, please stand up as we speak and make a difference in your house that is not using LED lights, which are energy saving. So try and do that. Change the lights. Have the ones that recharges. I've got those. When there's load shedding, I still have lights. They are so amazing, and people think, "Oh my word, she's got it solar." And I'm not there yet. I'm still doing my homework. I'm still also trying to see if it's an investment worth my house, because I'm not comfortable to invest more if I decide to go buy elsewhere. So think of that. And also, there's people that say switch off your geyser and switch it on in the morning. Others said that costs even more. So look into that. And if you are using if monitor, guys, you ought to monitor. If you switch it off at a certain on at a certain time, and after showering and everyone has showered, and you switch it off, does the bill come back with a difference? If there's no difference, or it's slightly more, because others says it takes more energy for the water to reheat up for the whole geyser, but especially if it's a big geyser. So do that. But if it works for you, because maybe your geyser is not as big and it really helps you, cut down, switch it off, put reminders in your phone, because now, guys, it is so tough, and those who know tell us it is gonna get tougher. So you need to do all these little changes, and a change in your lifestyle or your life is never easy, but if it's gonna save you money, it's gonna change your life. And as a spare, a rand or a dollar, do not sleep on it. So do monitor the changes that you are implementing in your space to cut electricity, and see if it's making any change. And what I need to ask as well, and guys, if you've just come in, please don't forget to like. You just like one time, you don't have to like many times. And those who've liked, thank you very much. And if you've always been on this channel, I truly appreciate your support. And what I want to ask of you guys is, if you've got other solutions, you've got other recommendations, you've got other tips on how to stretch your income during these tough times, during these taxing times in our country, drop them on the comment section. This particular section is not just me giving tips. Someone might have better tips than what I'm sitting here and sharing, because this is also from my personal experiences, what I've tried, and some worked for me, some didn't work, but it doesn't mean they might not work in your family structure. So I'll appreciate it if we interact, and we share notes and compare notes. Utheni Batsidi, so hello, ma'am. Thank you so much for sharing. So educated. Okay, thanks, Sissy. And do that and monitor is it making a difference. And those who are not using electricity, that is, I don't know what they call it, straight line or whatever, and you are using prepaid. Some people say there's limits. Go into your area's tariffs. Look how much you are getting paid, because others say you get certain units if you buy electricity for a certain amount. But now, if you've exceeded the limit that is provided for that particular area, then that's why you find yourself paying more for less units. This is the time you sit down, you Google, you check your tariffs, you see which best option it is. And apparently, it doesn't matter whether you buy beginning of the month or you buy end of the month, it is the same rate in terms of the units that you get for your electricity. That is if you are on prepaid. However, okay, there's a difference on if you've reached, so it means you overuse the electricity, you get penalized if you didn't know this. Hence, some people if they buy twice in 1 month, when they buy for the second time, they most probably buy for more amount than the first time or beginning of the month. They shocked as to say, why are my units now less than the units that I received beginning of the month? Look into that. See how you can make sure you capitalize on getting more units with a much a lesser amount, or the required amount. I don't think there's any way of cheating that system or benefiting from that system. So just make sure you are okay, and you are fine. Sorry guys, I was scrubbing my face, so there's these little particles that are left there. So yeah, there is that. And in terms of talking petrol, guys, there's quite a few adjustment and change of lifestyles that we can introduce, especially if you are in a household where you've got two cars, husband has his own, wife has his own, and you don't work in different cities. Because if you're in different towns, it is different. It is difficult, and you've got different times in terms of leaving your work, and the other one maybe starts on odd hours. You can't certainly use one car, but if you can use one car, look into that and just sell the other car for now. Don't leave it to stand in in your garage or car park, because it will lose value. Or sell it to buy a car that will bring you income. And what else? And if you've got colleagues that stays within your area, and guys, I know I'm one person who likes my space when I'm in my car, and I feel like, and that's the time in most cases when I used to drive to work, not now when I'm loafing. That would be the time that I'll use to pray my rosary. So I wouldn't want someone to invade my space, if you get me. However, I get times are tough. Maybe if you like your space because it's the time you use for personal introspections or to get closer to your God, you can shift the time and get closer to your God later in the evening, or before you go to bed, or much earlier before you even dress up, or any time of the day, just to accommodate your colleagues that stays within the area. And guys, you can swap, so that it doesn't feel unfair that you only use one person's car and their warranty, and they have to cover more in terms of maintenance and all that, and service. I mean to say, yes, maintaining the car. So it can be my car this week, the following week we use Matsidiso's car, Jablile's car, Siqendu's car, and so forth. And by doing that, you're cutting on petrol. And as South Africans, we still have a long way to go in terms of making sure that our environment is green. In Europe, they discourage you to use your car. And I understand the infrastructure is advanced, but it also involves our citizens. It's not just the government. So if we can also be seen, good, you don't see one person in so many cars and traffic and the fumes and all that, the government will most probably find the pressure of giving us a better and reliable public transport. So if you can couple, do that with people that are close by. And even if someone stays like 15 kilometers from where you stay, you drop them off, but you guys are sharing your petrol and you're cutting down on this, because guys, I promise you, how far can you get with a 50 rand petrol that gets you over a liter of petrol? It's gonna start really izoqala igqilaza kwashaba South Africans, izogqilaza lento. So let's really look into it. And if you are like someone who likes to gallivant during weekends, and your gallivanting is not even business related, or it doesn't yield any income, please look into that and cut down and see people once every second month or once in 6 months, and phone them. And we've got the technology now, guys. You can video call if you really miss someone. You can virtual hug. We did it for so long while there was COVID, and we survived. Yes, it wasn't comfortable, but if you really need to cut costs, because you cannot be grooving one way and your groove is like 50 kilometers away from where you stay, it is going to cost you a lot of money. Meeting with those friends is already costing you because booze are expensive, and we know the tax that comes with booze and cigarettes. With the already killing you there, and now to still give more in terms of petrol, which is now costing you so much. Rethink it, rethink. And if you need to be having fun in people's houses and you are comfortable with that, you're not a private person, maybe look into that. Go to 1 week. In fact, guys, I don't see the need, unless you're still very, very young, to be grooving every week. Maybe 1 month we go to Uboni Sile's house and we have fun there, and the following month we go to another friend's house, because social life is very important. You can't say to people, stop having fun and times are tough, but we ought to cut down if we really want to build the legacy that we are all about on this channel. And if we really want to live a comfortable life and do things that matters to us, and if traveling is that, traveling doesn't come cheap. Don't be fooled. So you ought to cut down to be able to invest the money that you've cut down. And once you've cut down, make sure you put it into good use. You don't cut down to spend it on other things. And I think in terms of petrol, that could really help. If someone else has other ways, and guys, if you are a cycler, use your bicycle to work. And it's not funny. Some companies that I worked for has a gymming area. Cycle to work. Use your bicycle to work. Use those smaller cars that I see, and they're not promoting my video, written bolt on the side. I don't know the name of a car that's smaller, but just think twice. Go to what happens if you are in an accident, and they are so tiny. Do they have the airbag? Think of your safety while you're at it. But let's not drive about 4x4 and you are so alone, or about 2 liters, 3 liters, 4 liters. This thing has 4 exhausts. You know how it chows petrol? It smiles when you give it fuel. So think about it and cycle to work, get to the gym, just shower, put on your office wear, and you are even investing in in self, because if you fit, guys, chances are the illnesses will walk far away from you. So you'll be really hitting Lord, 3 birds with one stone, or maybe 10 birds with one stone. Think of that. And that is in terms of your petrol. And then the groceries, guys, there's so many options. And guys, thanks those who just joined. Thank you for coming through. Don't forget to like once. That's it. And don't forget to contribute on how you planning to cut our costs as the economy crisis hits us. And yeah, we've got elections coming on next month. We don't know what the outcome is going to be. And I ask you to please pray and sing Nkosi Sigelela. That's our South African prayer. And let's pray for the best, because the results, yeah, are known, and we just do want a peace as a country after those elections. And let's hope the right people will come into power and change things around. But again, guys, change is not overnight. Even those changes might take years to come. So while we are facing this financial debacle, what are you doing in your personal space to make sure that you are still breathing, to make sure that your kids are not kicked out of school, to make sure that your car is not repossessed, your house is not repossessed, you're not running away from phone calls from private numbers that are saying, hey, sissy, you owing us, where's our money? Because now you're paying for more for things that you used to pay slightly less. So in terms of food, just look into meal planning. Guys, now we cannot afford to be lazy. If you're a lazy person and, oh, Mina, I like an easy life, you have ukuthi uzithathe. You can no longer be lazy. So you have to really be serious about life. Look into meal plannings and prepare your meals maybe for the whole week, way ahead. By so doing, you make sure you incorporate your veggies. It's a balanced meal. You don't end up grabbing each junk or end up buying from other restaurants or buying takeaways, which are unhealthy anyway for our bodies, and you costing yourself more money. I mean, these takeaways, some are so rich in bad oil that you can see good, like, my poor heart is struggling to breathe. Even if it's not warning you, but in the future it will tell you good, you were feeding me nonsense. So when you try and meal plan beforehand, you cook in bulk. You make sure you've got your greens in the Tupperware. You make sure, if you believe in having your carbs, there's little bit. If you can, instead of white rice, you replace it with your brown. If it's pasta, you go for the other one. I'm trying to think what they say, that brownish one, there's a word for it. And just do that, and every day you just pack your kids food, and it's not packed with sugar. It's the right stuff. You grab your lunchbox, then you don't get to work and go to a canteen. But it's different if you stay by yourself and you realize good, buying daily is much reasonable than cooking. Then Bob is your uncle. But if you can cook in bulk to save electricity, to save time, to make sure you eat much healthier, do that. And restaurants should become treats. And I'm sorry, because people who work there are really going to suffer now, because if we no longer support these joints or restaurants as much as we used to, because it's tough on our side as well, we ought to fasten up or tighten the belt. It is going to be tough on their side. But now it's the time where we become a bit selfish, because if you just gonna carry on as if it's business as usual, guys, it's certainly not business as usual. So start coming up with ways and means that will really take your money a long way. And look into groups. And guys, we're living in an amazing society, amazing times, where there's information for everything. We've got groups for everything. We've got pages for everything. Look for groups where you can get specials. You start buying when the specials, and if it's non-perishables, you buy them in bulk, so you sort of stockpile. If there's your washing detergents on special, you buy them. I do the same with those non-perishables. When I see Gucci, oh my goodness, the toilet roll is reasonable at a certain store, and it is not a store where I'll have to drive miles and miles, because then it defeats the purpose. I go and stock up, and for the next 6 months, I don't even think of toilet papers. I don't even think of face washes, because I look for specials. Join those groups, stay in those groups, search. Don't just buy for the sake of buying. And I'm laughing because I came across, yes, a post where someone said, I went against my beliefs, and I bought the Oros. I had forgotten this Oros, and I'm trying now Gucci, as much as I've left Coke, which was so yeah, bad for me, and I was so addictive. For now I'm going for 2 years, I still will still a bit of a soda, which is not good for me. I know that I should only be drinking water, if not water, this concoction. Sorry guys, that's my green juice. So this person was saying they went against what they believe in, and they bought this Oris for 45 rands. And it was funny because a day before I saw this post, I checked the Oris and it was on special, and they're not sponsoring this video. I'm using it as an example. And it was 45 rands. So I was like, I was debating with myself. Then someone on the comment section says, I got mine for 99 rands. I got three. And they mentioned the store, which I won't mention here. And I was like, I've never bought in that store. And times have changed. I think I'll start going into stores that I've never used to go to. And not because of status, but it's stores that are not within my radius, so it would mean I'll need to go into near neighboring like towns or something. And I started searching for the store because I know it's like your other reasonable stores, especially if you go and buy in bulks. And obviously, I don't see myself going there and buying your fresh produce and your meats and all that. I'll only go for exactly what you spoke, the non-perishables. I started searching and I realized, good, okay, they're a bit far from me, but there's one that is not that bad. And I said, since I'm still at home, maybe it won't hurt during the week to try it out. Go when the people are at work and buy in bulk. And I'm sure some of y'all have also came across the study that showed Uguti the most reasonable supermarket compared to your Pick and Pays, your Checkers, your ShopRites, your Spars is Marco is my son-in-law. Macro. And I used to buy my stuff in macro because I like to buy in bulk and even forget there's such thing called a grocery. But if you haven't been there, try and also monitor. Look at the prices. How much buy same items? Maybe buy 20 items for next month, for instance, because I'm sure you've already bought your stuff for April, and see how much you spend if you buy from macro, and then go to your normal store and see how much you spend. But guys, I would urge you to look for discounts and really cook in bulk and freeze a lot of foods that are freezable and stay within the limits. We don't want to get sick and end up spending more on your health, on the bills and medical bills. Then it doesn't really make sense. But there's lots and lots you can do, or just eat when you feel dizzy. We'll get to that. You don't eat, only eat when you really feel dizzy, because sometimes people live to eat instead of eating to live. I used to have one of my aunts when I was young. She used to say, "Nidlela ukuphila oniphilela ukudla," and I think that concept needs to come to play, that you ought to eat when you really feel dizzy, because, yeah, times are getting tougher and tougher. And uh, get your fresh produce from, yeah, support the local markets, and hopefully they in most cases they have fresh foods. But if you can have your own small garden, and guys, it's no longer about the space, it's about taking a decision and being intentional. Even if you've got a small space, you can have at least tomatoes, you can have your onion. I'm thinking of this onion now, spring onion, kwigadini yakho, on your windowsill, until you can find a place to transplant it. We've seen a project that took place years back in Johannesburg, where people were using the rooftops of the flats to garden, and they were using all the containers. Instead of throwing out your bottles, use them, upcycle them, and use them as your garden in that smaller Ghana space. I've got this open area that I've been meaning to turn it into a sunroom. I can fill up this. Oh, I can't. There's no. Oh, but I can if I do it the other way. I can fill up the space with the garden until I transplant. Luckily, I've got a space for gardening. Look into gardening if you still feel Uguti, the locals fresh produce are a bit expensive. If you like me, you like it to be not far from a store that always have fresh produce at a reasonable price, where we normally buy like about avos, about 10 rand, 6 avos, and they are fresh and ready. Sometimes they're not ripe, then you're okay. But if it's expensive, look into gardening, guys. You won't go wrong. Hi Bo, I missed you, ma'am. Where have you been? Happy to see you. Love you so much. Thank you, Sipogazi. Utin Matini. So, excuse me. I'm busy cutting down my expenses. It's so true, ma'am. Life these days is very high. what you are sharing now is very important. Thank you very much. Pleasure, sis. And we are all sharing what's the best way. And then join those groups where they share. If you don't have time to be looking through newspapers and different apps to see what specials you're getting, but you can subscribe and get them on your phone on a weekly basis when the specials come up, and you buy according to that. And you can even do about stock files. It doesn't have to be end of the year stock files with these 50 kgs that end up getting spoiled, and like rotating, but helping each other, those who believe in food stock files. But I'll say rather have stock files for grocery stores, rather, start groceries moranyana spazes or mobile stores, containers, stock files, instead of just focusing on basic stuff. But we all start somewhere, as the ladies or the guys, or the mixed, because some stock files it's mixed gender. You can then upgrade. Start off by buying each other groceries and rotate, not end of the year, because it is now, and buy in bulk, or maybe as a family buy in bulk and share, more especially according to how many people are in those households, instead of you. And guys, I often encourage my kids, go Facebook, go on your pantry and see how much stuff is laying there which has expired. So have challenges where you say, I'm not buying any grocery item until I finish what's in my pantry. I've done that. And my pantry is nicely breathing after it was suffocating for a while. And now, because I'm honestly also trying to get rid of so many things in my life, and I've done it and I'm doing it again. I did it before I went on my gap year. I'm doing it again. Stuff, I smile when I see an empty cupboard, because a full up cupboard don't always mean you are wealthy. It means you wasteful if you don't use the things that you bought while they can still be used. Sometimes it's just associated with greed. You just want a lot. You want to see a lot of foods and lot of towels, lot of, but you don't, plates and pots, but you don't even use them. So that times have changed. Look into becoming minimalists. Look into cutting costs. Look into keeping what you really use until you say, okay, I've used you for quite some time. Can I say goodbye and then go get a new stuff? But that is just a tip. And in terms of school fees, if you can invest during the year and pay full school fees when it's time for that period where they open up for about discounts, that will do you good as well. I used to do it. And because the school fees for my child was very expensive, I just couldn't fit it on a monthly basis. I made sure I invested during the course of the year, and came December, to take advantage of that 7% discount, I would pay it in full. It was a lot of money. Take someone with really, really discipline, but I would save thousands of rands. So look into that. And also, kids, try and have your kids in the same school if you can, because and I'm talking like this as a risk person. I'm thinking to myself, is it safe if there's something wrong or you lose all your kids? Oh guys, I don't know why our minds run like that, but yeah, makes sense. Have them in the same school. Think of the good instead of the bad that is coming into my mind, because sometimes first kid you find that you pay full school fees, second kid there's a discount, third kid even more discount, and take advantage of that. And in terms of transportation, if you drop them off at school, you do once drop off, you do pick up once. If you using Malume's transport, you also able Gucci, you only pay for one transportation. Instead of having one kid in a different city, this one is costing you 700 rands and the other one is costing you 500 rands. And as I'm sitting here, I'm thinking, if you have kids, try and give them um equal opportunities, guys. I was going through something that really disturbed me as a parent. Let's not discriminate. So don't have one child in a private school and another child in a public school. And I know someone will say, what if the baby daddy of the other one is paying maintenance, and this one, I'm a single mother and there's no maintenance coming in? How can I now deprive this child a better education or better opportunities because this other one? Guys, you need to sit and think carefully when it comes to that. So rather give them equal opportunities so that tomorrow, as you age as a parent, nothing comes back to stab you. So if you use that to save money, we're not talking about equality or fairness on our kids, on how we raise our kids. Yeah, yo, that disturbed me. Yeah, yo, I can't get over this, and I want to go talk about it on Facebook. Please try and make sure same transport, same school, and take advantage of our discounts. And if you've got like your insurances and you're starting to see good, hi boy, it looks like I'm paying more, call, compare. We have got that Hippo. I don't know, I've never used that app, but I'm sure it's working fine. Compare the insurance cost and go for one that is much reasonable, but look at the history. Do they pay when you claim? What are other people who've used this company, insurance company, saying? Are there too many Hello Pizza complaints? What are the reviews telling you? If they don't pay when you claim, stay away. Rather pay slightly more and know good you'll have a peace of mind when you claim. And luckily, I mean, I've used two insurance companies in my whole life. And guys, I promise you, I've never had issues. I remember the one even gives you that no claim bonus. When we were due for that no claim bonus, it was paid before we even followed up. Good time, you promised us a no claim bonus. We never claimed. Where's our money? That no claim bonus that comes after 4 years. And we had a couple of thousands in our pocket. Look for that check. Look where you can make money. Now it's time to take out your papers and say, where did I used to contribute? I used to buy shares here. Where's my money? If you are like those people who buy houses and neglect them, and then some people come in and take over. If you are like that, even with your investments, now it's the time to go look in your archives and see where is your money and claim it. So if you've got insurance and you've got these no claim bonuses, and your insurance pretends they forgot to go to you are due for them, ask for them, demand them. You didn't claim, they due to you, they are yours. And if it's cars, shop around. And in most cases, your insurance, because guys, we end up being loyal to companies that we shouldn't even be loyal to. Your current insurance might beat the quote, and you might still stay with them if they mean a lot to you. And like I said, I've never had issues, and those who know me know that I had a huge nightmare. My whole house got flooded, the cars were flooded, we started rebuilding. But the insurance that I've had, oh guys, peace of mind. And I remember even when they appointed the suppliers to come and help us out, and the one supplier that came messed up the kitchen door and the put some old-fashioned locks, and I just couldn't believe. I thought to myself, by the time I'm done with this house, it will be facing east instead of west, because the workmanship here is so low, it's non-existent. And I called the insurance and I said, I'm not happy with this, can we have our monies? And we were paid a lot of money, hundreds and thousands, because the damage was massive. So I've always stayed with those insurance companies, but I don't stay and relaxing. I also challenge them. I've been with you, I'm leaving. Can you match this quote? So it's time to look into that. Medical aid, do the same, but don't cancel. Guys, don't cancel. And do not use tomorrow's monies today. So you cannot possibly, as the times are getting tougher and tougher, you're going now to access your retirement funds. No, there is tomorrow's money. You're gonna use it tomorrow. Rather find ways to cut down today on what you can cut down to adjust your lifestyle. If it means downgrading your car, you ought to do that. And guys, another thing that worries me, and I wanna do a live about this, is what has happened to our society. Personally, if one of my kids, in fact, I'm even encouraging my child to stay in my house forever, if she can, and invest her money until she gets tired of, because you can't have, now it will be what, two, three bulls in one crawl, or 100 bulls in one crawl. But guys, what happened to when you really, really see Gucci times are tough and you've got amazing parents? You go back home just for 1 year relief. I'm not saying go permanently back home, but especially if you renting a space and your rent is like 15,000. I know a family that welcomed their child back because their child had businesses, and when COVID hit, he couldn't, honor all his financial obligations. And the parents said, "Come, we've got a mansion, we've got outbuildings. Come stay here and with your wife." Imagine, some of y'all are single, but the thought of going home because, oh, my mother will be wanting these green juices, but you'll make this green juice once, which will nar you if I ask for it. But okusalayo, you are saving money. So think of that, guys. And if you can do it with friends, do it. Minagazi, the society has changed. So we all now ought to be seen as though we've got our S all together. Sometimes we don't have our S all together, guys. And you have to be honest with you. And when you've cut down and you can no longer cut because you'll end up cutting yourself, I think of options where you can share spaces with friends, with strangers if you can. But I will urge you, if you left your room and no one occupied it back at home, go back and just get a year's relief. Mina, guys, I will do something that is very uncomfortable for a short period, just to get my life together again, and just pick up my loose ends and then go back to my comfortable life. It's something I would do. If I've got parents, I'm at a family house and they really are cool and the bedrooms are locked because we all now married, and yeah, they welcome you guys with warm hearts. Why not? Why not? Guys, I'm gonna take this step by all the time, and I don't think it's even there. I think it's just me. Sorry, guys. Let me just clean myself. So why not think of going back home, just for a year, and pay off that big debt and put in extra and breathe, and then go with your kids and look for another space. But obviously, we all come from different family structures, different parents who some are amazing, others are now referred to as toxic parents. I won't say much about that. Look into your situation. If it's gonna be send you to vet copies, don't go back home. But look at those options. Times are tough. Luthi, happy Sunday, mommy. Love the topic. Yo, we are really facing tough times. Tough times indeed, sis. We need to save as much as we can. True, sis. Hi, Sister H. Could you please share the insurance company for both cars and property? Or since I don't like to promote people, but especially if they don't sponsor the live video, but the one that I used was just for the benefit of this live, and do your homework and check the reviews. I'm not saying use them. I always, even if someone refers someone to come and do a piece job at my house, I still do my part. So I expect you, Sissy, to also do your part before you can even use them. So the one was a dial direct. Loved them, never had a problem for my car until we decided to consolidate and have one comprehensive and that one outsurance, and I've never ever looked back, and I go to them. I go to them. But like now, I go to them. And another tip I want to give you, if you've got it on, guys, please don't forget to like. Don't forget to like. You like once, and yeah, it goes, oh, my likes are so horribly bad. I think this channel would have been far if people who sit and watch the videos really do thank me by just liking. Let alone doing a super chats or super thanks and being a member by subscribing. Just liking will really go a long way. What I also want to suggest, which I also do quite often, is that if you have a bonded house or you've got a home loan, what we call a home loan in South Africa, pick up the phone and or send an email. I send emails and tell your bank, ukuthi, I've been with you for this long. Can you review my interest rates? And they do, guys, they do. Because if you are currently paying Prime Plus or Prime, yeah, Prime plus 1%, Prime plus 2%, and you can ask them. And obviously, I think they look into how you conduct your account. So your credit rating, your risk, will what which risk class you are in will come into play. You know, you pay on time if you've got the overdraft. Are the things not unpaid in your accounts or transactions? So you send them, because remember, for years these departments were separate. So you'll have your car finance. I almost said the one that I use. You'll have your car finance, you'll have your home loan. But now, before they approve you, before they look into reviewing your interest rates, they look at your account holistically. So if you normally mess up in terms of paying on time, chances are they might be skeptical to reduce. But do it anyway. It won't kill you. Just take time, send an email to your bank, tell them, like how you do with my insurances. I've had this home loan with you guys for this long. Can you review and reduce my interest rates? I've done it and it works. But especially if you're paying Prime Plus, they can give you prime minus. And guys, it makes a huge difference, because then that difference, you can end up paying your bond much quicker than the 20-year period. Let's not talk about 30 years. I want to really pull my hair when I see a bond that is stretched up to 30 years. Guys, try and keep it to 20 years, please. I know times are tough. I know our income, some of us or some of y'all's, don't allow you to buy the house that you would love to, but rather have a smaller square meter or less square meter than the house, your dream house, and stick to a 20-year period. Because when you do that, you are able to pay extra towards your bond, more especially when times are not as tough, because it will get to a time where even paying extra towards your bond, even paying extra towards your car, extra towards your personal loan, to your extra towards your study loan, overdraft, and is really going to become difficult. But while you can, an extra 50 rands can cut down your home loan repayment period big time, and we will do a completely different life altogether. We've spoke about how you can really cut down, and I'm sure there's lots. If you tend to, you like me, you love to do your nails, maybe you can only do them with the specials, or take advantage of specials, and maybe leave the place that you often go and they put you nicely, you lay there like a queen. Go, but maybe they charge you more, and look for places where you sit and you feel your bum getting really heavy, but maybe the nails are much reasonable. Or you start learning how to do your own nails. I know someone who said nails are costing me, and I love beautiful nails. And they went on YouTube and self-taught themselves. And self-taught themselves, as if it doesn't mean self-taught means you teaching yourself. And they end up buying the tools to do their own nails. You get what I mean? So this will come with us learning to do things. So it will empower us, to be honest. So whenever whatever, however the situation is, always go in knowing Guti, you will come out different. So there'll be lessons to learn. We spoke about gardening. You're now gonna learn how to garden, and if anything, learn how to garden organic produce instead of putting these harmful chemicals in your garden. So when these tough times, they don't call it recessions as yet, maybe it's still gonna be called recession or it's already on recession, come to an end, there's something there you're gonna say, it was tough, but I've learned this. Even if you learn a skill or you learn a discipline, you would say, you know what? I used to just buy without looking at the prices. Now I know how much sugar costs. And if you can, just cut sugar. And you get used to it, guys. First week becomes tough. Second week, you're okay. I can drink my tea without sugar. I'm fine. And if my family tries, they're like, oh my word, how can you? This is horrible. I said, it felt like that when I initially started. But you can adjust, you can unlearn, especially these things that are anyway harmful to us. You can just say goodbye until we gather our strength and until things get better, because I guys, what goes up should come down. Definitely. So what goes up will certainly come down someday. So let's hope for the best and be optimistic. We cannot sit here and think it's gonna get worse and worse. We ought to pray. Usiburuke. Kaze kahleka bathini usiburuke sichaba Gobi South Africa, yeah, a country that really stresses God. Usiburuke, we have to pray about Usiburuke sichaba sayes, and it's time to really take our national anthem serious. And yeah, we spoke about that, and I can't, and there's more guys. We all have different financial commitments, and look into your space and see how you can, and approach people that you owing loans and tell them, things are getting tougher on your side. How can they meet you halfway, if there is such a thing? But unless you ask, you'll never know. Most probably they might say, okay, if we consolidate it, we'll reduce your interest, and this is how much, or it might cut down. But there you are, same bank, you sitting with five personal loans that you took, and you can't even remember for what, but you've never approached them to say, if you put this, even if it's gonna scare me, because it's gonna now be a real picture, realistic picture, will it cut down my interest rates? Excuse me, and will it cut down the repayment period? Speak now. It's time to stand up. That's why it's laziness and yeah, burying your head in the sand is not gonna, like what does that ostrich? It's not gonna get you far. Now you ought to take Ibul by its horn, my duty. You know what? I'm facing this dilemma. I have more loans than you can think. Let me rather approach my creditors and see how they can assist me. So this is the time. Let me approach Amandu, who I owe, and tell them this is how much I can afford. Can they agree with that and stick to that agreement and contract, because you don't want to be blacklisted and tomorrow you really, really need money to take the child maybe to varsity because you messed up your agreements. Now you struggle to access any money in this country. So look into how you can really cut down. And if you've got subscriptions that you are paying, just donating for free, you don't even use them fully, cancel them, guys. Cancel them. When your frame of mind is okay, you're in the right space, you have enough time. I know we use time as an excuse, and sometimes it's just not even about time, it's about discipline. Then you can pick up again. But don't sit there and you are paying this fancy fitness club, but you've never been. Rather buy yourself footy. These days, guys, you can use what you have. I train outside of this house, and where there's a step, I use it as my step, and I train there, and I've got a skipping rope. Rather buy such things and use them to train. And when times gets much better. We're starting to breathe as a country, and petrol is no longer as expensive. Oh Lord, I pray we get to that. I say this and I wonder in my heart, but I ought to stay positive. Then you can have these personal trainers. You can go to these fancy classes that are costing you more than your gym, over and above your monthly gym subscription. And cancel, guys, cancel things. And with your DSTVs, if you still have them, and they're gonna kill me for this, maybe I shouldn't even say it, you can maybe only select channels that you use. You can't possibly be watching all thousands of them and you find good. You always only watch one. Like clothing, you have this whole dressing room full of clothes, but you always wear these three pants all the time. So why are you still buying? Why are you still keeping the ones that you have? Someone could put them to good use, even if you just have to thrift them and sell them at a reasonable price, put them on a marketplace and make money out of them. So the gone are the days we just gonna sit with things and have talking about that. Look into your house, see what's been laying in your garage, what's been laying in your windy house. Have a garage sale, put it in your marketplace. You know, now we don't do it traditionally like garage sales and all that. Now you go on this digital world, put it there, have it, sell it, buy things that are discounted, up uplift an item. If you want a dresser, instead of going for a brand new one that costs like 15,000, go to these antique, if you love antique furnitures or pre-loved, and you can paint it. By so doing, you also relaxing your mind while you are painting it. And guys, we are all gifted. If that's your gift, use it. This is the time. And upcycle it. And before we know, we're like, wow. But you won't say, have your before and after picture, and it will motivate you to do more with most of your stuff at home. So it is time where you can join forces with families, with friends, and share costs. I think that is the message. And to close off these suggestions, very important, have another income stream. Guys, we can no longer have excuses. Hey, we can't all sell, but you've never tried to sell. How do you even know, Gucci, you can sell or not? I will only understand someone who said, I've tried it 3 times, to be honest, and I've realized, hi, it looks like I'm not gifted in that area. Because yes, we cannot be gifted in all areas and aspects of phases or spheres rather of lives. There's things that are not meant for us and meant for other people. But this thing you're going to wear now, you always exclude yourself. You always you are less deserving than others. While we go and try out things that we've never tried before, Tina, who believes in our God and ourselves, when now already you've excluded yourself. Hi, that's not for me. Hi, that's not. That is just a lame excuse, And how far can you get? Now it's the time. And we all have gifts, guys. We all have talents to sit. And if you don't know what your talent is, now is the time to try and figure it out. And if you have to light a candle and ask God to whisper in your ears, Gucci, what exactly is your talent? Where are you actually gifted in? And it's time to start monetizing your talent. So you cannot sit there and you only have one salary, and others don't even have a salary, but they still have excuses. Children don't eat excuses for lunch. Kwasho, pap geld. You ought to stand up and say, let me go try it and see, Guti, will I survive? And you go with a positive mind. You go saying, I have to survive. I will survive. I do my best. I'll give it my all. And obviously, nothing comes in and looks like an awesome picture when you start off. You're going to have your challenges, but let's all start something. Let us all start something. We might not all sell products, but you can honestly make money with your gift and use it. This is the time to make an extra income because you can't be just cutting, cutting, cutting. Make an extra income. And guys, try selling. You won't go wrong. If selling is not for you, offer services. You know, there's a lot you can do. Some of y'all, when you write something, I read it and I'm like, wow, umbhalo ubhalele nto le. What a gift. But you are sitting there not using your God-given gift of writing. There are so many apps that you can sign up or websites and write articles and make like $30 a month. How many of y'all are making dollars and pounds on a monthly basis? Dollar. You just focusing on South Africa, but you are sleeping on your talent that you could just spread it and stop with our excuses and stand up and say, you know what, me, I'm good with the sock. Can I go to schools and register with a certain school to coach kids? And if they say you require a certificate, you work on a certificate, guys. A year is nothing. We are on the second quarter. So what's your excuse? Before you know, this year will be over. Then next year you approach schools. It would not only be the school. And I've told you, I've taught kids, Mina, as my extra stream of income. It wasn't just the French schools where I was teaching. The parents loved me so much. They wanted me to teach their kids privately. And they paid me like crazy on an hourly basis. Because guys, Mina, to be honest, my prayer to God, even when I was young, was never to slave. I always said, God, my mother was a domestic worker. My mother was a slave. Can you just make sure good I work for my money, but I work smart, not hard, because I saw how hard my mom worked. So I'm always conscious good when it gets too much, then I back off. And I can because I've created different streams of income. But when you start off and you don't have different streams, you ought to work extra hours. So I'll end up with like 7 kids in one day and I'll be overwhelmed. And eventually I was like, it's taking too much of my time. I don't have my me time. I don't have my family time. I don't have my God's time anymore. All I'm doing is just, but I made good money. So now it's the time to say, what am I good at? And you start small. Okay, let me tell my community. Let me see how far it can go. Let me approach our institutions, corporates, whatever. Don't play small anymore. And I is talking about starting like another stream of income. Streams you can have simultaneously. There was a time where I had 6 streams of income at the same time. So you get this now, you get another amount next week, you get another amount month end, you getting paid in dollars, you getting, and it doesn't matter how much you are making when you start out. It's just the starting. And as your profile grows, then that's where, and you've made, you've got hours to show and your skills to show, then you can start requesting slightly more. Don't be greedy. But guys, I cannot stress this enough. The extra 200 rands that you didn't have last month makes a huge difference when you get it this month. So I want to leave you with that. An extra 200 rands that was not part of your income last month, when you are smart, will make a huge difference in your life when it comes in this month. So don't underestimate a power of 1 rand. Don't underestimate the little that you are making as a start, because you ought to start up. This babai that you see where people portray the life as though they woke up and they inherited the millions. In the meantime, it's stolen goods. That falseness and fakeness and criminology must come to an end, because that's what misleads a lot of people, thinking wealth and money comes on a silver platter. Guys, those who know how many years it took me before I could realize my dream, because it's money that you try and earn it as honest as you can. It takes years. It takes years. But you don't look down ku-100 rands, ku-250. If you said and you marked a paper and then the marking gave you 300 rands for 3 papers, who was gonna knock at your door? I always say, who's knocked at my door this week? Only the people that bought from me. And I've made money sitting indoors. Because when you use your brain, when you pray to God and you remain positive and you stand up and you try out things, some will work, some won't work, but you keep it moving. You don't stop. You don't give up. You don't become discouraged. I promise you, people will say these are tough times. You gotta agree. Because now your money is not getting you what it used to get you. But it won't be a matter of you are dry, your coffers are empty, you have no idea when your next meal will come from. You have no idea how you're gonna pay for that car, And when you get to that, downgrade, give it away, go to a taxi. When you are okay, rent out your house if it's bonded. Stay in a cottage if you've got a cottage. After 2 years, you can say to your tenants, goodbye, can I have my house back? Thank you for helping me. I'm now stable. You don't need to explain to yourself to people, but I'm just saying, you say it to yourself and you go back inside that house. Or you rent Alice, go back home. I've spoken about that. Ukuthi yini ningasafuni ukubuyela ekhaya? Qoshwa yini ekhaya? When times are tough, go back home. When times are tough, share with others. You know? And then it will help you. So I'll do definitely look into getting starting something, whether it's your talent, whether it's your skill, whether it's just selling a product or service. And I'll do a separate video where I give, because I've done a very comprehensive video about that on Facebook, but Facebook pulled it down because you can't be seen uplifting your society in those streets. So it won't be as comprehensive as that. I can't even recall the tips that I gave there, but I hope God will intervene and just refresh my mind. So I'll come here and share what businesses. I think let's start with businesses, and then we'll the next one will be about our skills. If you are good at this, this is what you can do and how you can maybe monetize it. But don't sleep on your talents, guys. Don't sleep, and stop this fear. Hey, fear is on cripula. Yo, what they sit go live and they just talk and talk and talk. All you know, good whether if you sit here, you so far that thousands will listen to you, thousands will love you, thousands. We are gifted differently. Just shred this fearness of, yes, there's nothing wrong about feeling fear. It's a valid feeling. We all have different feelings at different stages of our lives. But when it cripples you and overcomes you, then it's a problem. When it stops you from really moving forward and trying out new things, tapping into opportunities, whether be it a new job, applying, whether befanele uaplayela a new position. Oh yeah, Saba guys. Sesokuthini, just apply. Go for an interview. Yes, your stomach will turn. You most probably gonna have a diarrhea a day before your interview, but you're not gonna die. All you know, that's where your peace of mind will come from in terms of financial freedom. Because fear can really rob you of peace of mind. Because when you're financially free, guys, you can focus on other things that disturbs you, because it's not only about money, but it's mostly about money. And when the money is there, you can even go for other look for help and pay for it. Get people to help you with certain things. Take your kids with a dream to go. Imagine when our kids say, hey, can I be a photographer? Hey, ngayiphi man? Uyokholani uyi-photographer? Hey, go and become a teacher. And the child would have been the best photographer in the world, would have taken the best photos of amazing events or presidents and made more. But because the money is tight, now when you are fearful to make money, you must always think of abundance. Some people even fear is success. Oh, what if I try this thing and I become so successful? There's people who fear poverty and there's people who fear success. And pray about those things, guys. Now is the time to stand up, dust yourself, and use your brain and use God 24/7. If you were maybe putting him go reserve seat and say, God, come in now. I need to know, where can you show me? But I do it often. And I'll unexpectedly he'll whisper, have you tried this and see if it will work? And thank God, most of the things that I've tried have worked. Yes, I've got things that I've tried and they failed. Like my laundry mat. I always use it as an example. Like, hope it was so funny. And I was actually telling you about how this laundry mat business of mine came about and what happened for it to fail before it even started. Mama Ish, I'm touched. I'm not working. And we just moved to a new place. Everything is new around. Was thinking of going out tomorrow, shop by shop at our nearest mall and look for a job just to help. Do that, man. Don't think, sissy. Just do it. Now that you've thought about it, do it, sis. And volunteer where you can volunteer. I know it's NGOs, but you'll be surprised how other NGOs are so structured and properly registered, which you might get a stipend. And just give yourself, more especially when you are unemployed, give go back, what are you doing currently, so don't spare yourself. Give your time, give your skill, help out. From helping someone guys, our help comes from God, and our help comes from people and places that we least expect. So, Mbali, you'll find Gucci, you go and look for something and you get something. Let me use a silly example because I want the best for you. Maybe let me use something that is much higher grade as seen by human beings. Let's say you walk into a bank, but oh, you came on time. Our receptionist has done this and this. Can we see your papers? You offer your papers. And you think to yourself, but I'm more qualified than to be a receptionist. But since I have nothing, let me just help out. Do you know, Gucci, there might be a customer that will walk in and notice you, especially when you do something, give it your all. When you do your job diligently, and that person might take you to go and become something big in their company. Mina, most of our positions, and it's not about me, but I always like to use me as an example, as a mother, so that you can be inspired. I had positions that I applied for, and I didn't get those positions. You know what they used to say? I'm too qualified, or I've got more experience in the field for the position that I had applied for. And a person panel during the interview athi panel athi, no, can I take her because I'll be needing someone to do something which is much higher than this. And I end up getting an extra amount where this position came with this package, and I was really guarding for it. My eyes are fixed on this, but because I go in, give it my all in that interview, it now opens up. I've got stories for days about me now, how God has come through for me. And it's a matter of just believing in Him and in yourself and going there fully prepared. And when you do something, do it so amazingly so, even if no one is looking at you. Someone will spot your talent. I shared an amazing life about Mina, but I don't like to talk much about my work because, in case I look for a job, about how this one job that I had opened up an amazing opportunity because I didn't, even when people were saying you're just wasting your time, this person will not even recognize you. He's had people who reported to him when it's time for recognition, he couldn't care. I was like, I don't do things for people. That's where you guys fall short. I do things for my God who gave me this talent, who brought me to this earth, so that my God, Lord, awukahle, yo, ngicela nje ukuqeda guy ngoba uzosihlakisa. So do that, Mali, and you'll be surprised on how you go and just volunteer without expecting much, but you give it your all. You say, but God, since I only have time at this point in time, which most people don't even have time, I'll do this with all my heart. Before the end of the project, someone amazing recognizes you. And I'll share one day a story of a guy who's now a multi-millionaire on how he became a multi-millionaire. Because it's in those places where you think, what will come out of this? What will come out of volunteering? What will come out of helping Uba to edit her videos? What will come out of just writing an article, a ghost writer where no one knows I'm the one, who I'm behind the scene? People have gotten their breakthroughs on such. So my kids, I don't want to waste too much of your time. I wanted this video to be 15 minutes and done and dusted. And but yeah, it has gone on and on. But I think we've touched on some of the tools that you can apply in your personal life to try and reduce your expenses, because whether we like it or not, times are tough. And thank you for staying with me. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your time. Time is of essence. And when someone gives you their time, you ought to really recognize them and thank them and tell them you can't thank them enough. And thanks for liking. Thank you for sharing. Those who are new, if you've already subscribed, thank you. May the Lord continue to bless you. And may you sit down and look into your personal life and say, what can I do in my space to really, thank you, Danny, cut down the expenses? What can I bring in? And approach people and ask them if they can be willing to join forces with you, because sometimes you sit in your corner. Now we can no longer do things in isolations. We need to group. Is it we need to pull in our family members if there are, or some families, and there's no unnecessary drama that can come out of it, and then you ate my money, you didn't go buy enough groceries. Everyone knows now, with 3,000 rands groceries doesn't get you much. So sit down with people that aligns with you, people that you can see, and if we can like uh, buy in bulk and stockpile together, we can really kill this thing. We can really come out victorious when month end comes, or 6 months comes, or year end comes. And thank you. May you stay blessed. And if you have something else, do drop it on the comment section to say, how are you actually tightening up your belt during these tough times? And stay blessed, darlings. Bye.